नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Welcome all of you to our daily Bhagavad Gita reading session. We are reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, and this time we are in chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized. We have read until verse 2.20. Today we will discuss 2.21. Before we proceed, let's have a very quick recap of what all we read yesterday. In verse 2.20, we saw how there is no birth for the soul, or there is no death for the soul. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayang bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nityah sashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamani sarire. Even though the body is killed, but the soul is not killed. Why? Because there is no birth to the soul. Everything which takes birth, death is certain for that. But for the soul, there is no birth. It is Purana from the ancient time. Okay, from time immemorial. Nobody can trace out the time. It is existing. It is ever existing. But then, is it growing old? No, it is not growing old, because it is not consist of matter. In the matter, we see 6 transformations. Like in body, we see 6 transformations. Like it takes birth, it grows, it stays for a while in that state, and then it produces offspring, it produces child, and then it deteriorates, it get into the old age, right? At last, it appears death. But for the soul, these transformations are not there. So that's the reason it is not also aging. It is always nitya, eternal, and sashvata. So, and where it stays? It stays in the region of heart. Although the material, the scientists, they do not see it, they sometimes claim that, oh, there is no soul. But it's not like that. Srila Prabhupada is giving a very wonderful example. So there is sun in the sky. In cloudy day, you don't see the sun. Does it mean that there is no sun? No. We are fully convinced, even though the sun is not visible, but still sun is there. It's not very difficult to make somebody understand. Similarly, there is consciousness in the body. In the matter as such, there is no consciousness. So where from the consciousness is coming in living entity in this body? Because it is not the properties of body. Because the soul is present, hence consciousness is there. Okay. So even though we don't see the soul, but we experience the consciousness. Right? So that is the proof that the soul is present. And when soul leaves this body, the body is not conscious of anything. So that means soul has left this body. So, and there are 2 kinds of soul, Anuatma and Vibhuatma, Jivatma and Paramatma, minute particle soul and super soul. Anur Aniyan Mahato Mahiyan. And that super soul is smaller than the particle Anu, Anur Aniyan, smaller than the Anu, Mahato Mahiyan, and greatest of the greatest. So that is the characteristics of super soul. The Jivatma is conscious of his own body, whereas Paramatma He is conscious of the entire creation. And soul as such is full of knowledge. But the Jivatma, they have a tendency to forget. But the Paramatma, in case of Paramatma, it is not so. So Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul. So from Krishna, Krishna himself expands into Purusha form as super soul. Three kind of super soul we see. One is Mahavishnu, that is Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, who is lying in the Karanodaka Kusin. So basically, he is the super soul of the entire material creation. And then from him comes millions of universe. And that stays on the hair, okay, the hair hole of the Mahavishnu. And then he himself expand himself and enter into each and every universe. And that is in the form of Garbhodaksai Vishnu. So Garbhodaksai Vishnu is the super soul of one universe. So there are many universes, so there are many Garbhodaksai Vishnu. And he is conscious of one particular universe. And then Garbhodaksai Vishnu expand himself into Kshirodaksai Vishnu, who is lying in the serpent bed in milk ocean, and he is the Paramatma of every living entities and non-living entities. So as Kshirodaksai Vishnu, he has pervaded the entire creation. He has entered into each and every minute particle, be it animate, be it inanimate, be it living, be it non-living. So hence, Kshirodaksai Vishnu is the super soul of our, in our hearts, Kshirodaksai Vishnu stays. Okay, not only in our heart, means in any other particle also. So in that way, Krishna is expanding himself into super soul form. So let us go to our today's discussion. And beside the verse, Veda Virasinam Nityam Yaenam Ajam Abhayam Katham Sa Purusah Partha Kam Ghatayati Hantikam. You all can join with me. Veda Vinasinam Nityam
Veda Vinasinam Nityam
Yaenam Ajam Abhayam
Ya Enam Jamam Vayam
Katham Sa Purusah Partha
Katham Sa Purusah Partha
Kam Ghatayati Hantikam.
Kam Ghatayati Hantikamam.
Veda Vinasinam Nityam
Veda Vinasinam Nityam
Yaenam Ajam Abhayam
Ya Enam Ajam Avayam
Katham Sa Purusah Partha
Katham Sa Purusah Partha
Kam Ghatayati Hantikam.
Kam Ghatayati Hantikam.
Veda Vinasinam Nityam
Veda Vinasinam Nityam
Yaenam Ajam Abhayam
Ya Enam Avajam Vayam
Katham Sa Purusah Partha
Katham Sa Purusah Partha
Kam Ghatayati Hantikam.
Kam Ghatayati Hantikam.
Very good, wonderful. Veda Vinasinam Nityam. Veda means to know. Avinasinam means which is indestructible. Avinasinam. Nityam, eternal. Now you see, this is very repetitive. So Nityam, Avinasinam. Ya enam ajam abhyam. In previous verse we saw also ajo nityah saswatayam purana. Ya enam ajam and abhyam. Bayam means to spend or to finish. But this is abhyam. It is never finished. Katham sapurusah partha kam ghatayati hantikam. So let us see the synonyms. Veda knows avinashinam, indestructible, nityam, always existing, yaha, one who, enam, this soul, ajam, unborn, abhayam, immutable, katham, how, saha, that, purusha, person, partha, O Partha Arjuna, come, whom ghatayati, causes to hurt, hanti, kills, come, whom. Translation. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Krishna tells, O Partha, katham sa purusah, kam ghatayati hantikam. Yaha nityam veda. Yaha nityam veda. Yaha means who knows the soul is nityam, eternal. And enam means this soul is avinashinam, is indestructible. And not only that, ajam, abhyam, that means unborn and without any decay. Katham sapurusah anti. Katham sapurusah anti means that person who knows that this soul is avinashinam, ajam, abhyam, nityam. How come he can kill anyone? Kam ghatayati. How can he cause others to kill the Atma? How can he kill the Atma? How can he kill the soul? Or how can he cause others to kill the soul? Not possible. Because it is indestructible, it is eternal, nityam, avinashinam. Let us see what is written in purport. Purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Everything has its proper utility, and a man who is situated in complete knowledge knows how and where to apply a thing for its proper utility. So beautiful statement. Everything has its proper utility. So good has its utility, bad also has its utility. Everything. In Krishna's creation, nothing is valueless. Everything has its proper utility. You see, Maya. So this energy of the Lord is basically confusing all the jivas, but it has its utility because in that suffering state, being there in this state for indefinite time, at some point in time, jiva comes to a realization that, oh, this is not the place where I should live. These are basically false platform. I should go and have a happy life near, in the association of the Supreme Lord. I should go to Golaka planet. This planet is it's worthless. No matter how much I earn, at some point in time I lose it. No matter how much I try for happiness, some point in time the sorrow comes automatically. No matter how I tries to please someone, still he is not happy. So this uncertainty of this material nature, being there, experiencing there for some time, for some people it's one lifetime, for some other it is multiple human lifetime. but they will come to a realization at some point in time. So Maya has also its proper utility. Okay. Everything has its proper utility. Like knife. Knife in the hand of a murderer, he uses it to murder someone, stab someone. But that same knife in the hands of a mother cuts vegetable and serves us nice, delicious prasadam after offering to Lord. So knife as such is not bad. It has its proper utility, but it depends on who uses it. How he uses it. So everything has its proper utility, and a man who is situated in complete knowledge, who knows the proper utility of that object, knows how and where to apply a thing for its proper utility. Otherwise, so knowledge is very important. Similarly, violence also has its utility. And how to apply violence rests with the person in knowledge. Violence has its utility also. Like, you see, a doctor is operating a patient. Is it not violence? Yes, he's cutting the body and removing some place or some portion of the body. But is it not recommended? Yes, it is recommended. Violence also has its utility. So it depends how, where is it used. So a mother allowed his child to be operated by the doctor. So can we say that the mother is supporting the violence? No. For greater good of the child, mother granted. Okay, you can operate. You can remove some portion of my child. No problem. You can cut his body. She gives the consent. Another example, although the justice of the peace awards capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, the justice of the peace cannot be blamed. If a criminal means he has murdered somebody, and the judge of the court, who is the head of the court, he award death punishment for this criminal. So, and then actually he is a criminal. So, are we going to the judge and complaining him or blaming him? No, it is not, because he is just a medium to facilitate the reaction to this criminal. Because he orders violence to another person according to the course of justice. So there is a law. He is just going by the law. He is not choosing the person. The person is responsible for his own deeds. Judge cannot anonymously choose a person and award him death punishment. No, it's not possible. So for this reason, the judge is not blamed. He is not the cause of death for someone. He's just following, he's just judging according to the law of the court. In Manu Samhita, the law book for mankind, it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for the great sin he has committed. Rather, it is for his good. Why? Because a man who have murdered somebody and in this lifetime somehow he escapes from the punishment, then in the next life he will definitely suffer from it. So rather it is better that he should be punished in this life, at least he doesn't have to suffer for that in next life. But the judge is facilitating this. So in that way, he is causing actually good to that person. Because anyway, the reaction has to be suffered. He cannot escape it. Therefore, the king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for peace justice, is for supreme justice. And thus Arjuna should follow the instruction, knowing well that such violence committed in the act of fighting for Krishna is not violence at all, because at any rate, the man, or rather the soul, cannot be killed. So, for the administration of justice, so called violence is permitted. So violence is permitted to establish dharma, to administer justice. For that, violence is permitted. Because after all, it is for a greater good. For the greater good of the society, Arjuna, Krishna is advising here Arjuna, oh Arjuna, you fight and you kill all these wicked fellows. A surgical operation is not meant to kill the patient, but to cure him. Therefore, the fighting to be executed by Arjuna at the instruction of Krishna is with full knowledge. So, there is no possibility of sinful reaction. And Arjuna is a Kshatriya. Had he been Shudra, then probably for him it is not the right thing to do. But he is the Kshatriya. Kshatriya trayati iti Kshatriya. So he has to give protection to the common living man. So it is his duty to fight. Let us go to verse 2.22. Vansasi chirnani yatha vihaya navani grahanati naro parani तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. Very wonderful verse. You can recite. Vansasi जीर्णानि यथा विहाय
वंसासि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय
नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि
नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि
तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि
तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि
अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि.
नयानि संयाति नवानि देहि.
वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय
वसांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय
नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि
नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि
तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि
तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि
अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि.
अन्यानि समायाति नवानि देहि.
वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय
वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय
नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि
नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि
तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि
तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि
अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि.
अन्यानि समयाति नवानि देहि.
Wonderful. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. A very wonderful analogy or comparison Krishna is giving here. You see, O Arjuna, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naroparani. Vasamsi means these cloths. Jirnani, when they became old. Yatha vihaya, as like you are rejecting the old clothes. Right? In the similar fashion, navani grahanati naroparani. In the similar fashion, what happened? Okay, sorry. Vasamchi jirnani yatha vihaya. After removing this old cloth, what a person wear? New cloth. Navani grahanati. He accepts a new cloth. In the similar way, yatha and tatha. Tatha sarirani, the soul, vihaya jirnani. It also rejects this old body, jirnani, vihaya, anyani sanyati navani de. So just like when a dress is becoming old, you reject the old cloth and wear the new cloth. Similarly, the soul, when this body become old, rejects this old body and take up to a new body. What is so difficult to understand here? So when the dress is becoming old, are we lamenting for it? No, because we know that some point in time this dress is going to be old and this will be not useful anymore. Hence, we don't lament for it. Similarly, for the soul, this body is a dress. And when this body is not fit anymore, then the soul will leave this body and enter into a new body. What is so difficult to understand here? That's what Krishna is speaking. Synonyms: Vasamsi, garments, jirnani, old and worn out, yatha, just as, vihaya, giving up, navani, new garments, granati, does accept, naraha, a man, aparani, others, tatha, in the same way, sarirani, bodies, vihaya, giving up, jirnani, old and useless, anyani, different, sanyati, verily accepts, navani, new sets, dehi, the embodied. Dehi means the soul. Deha means body. Dehi means we reside in this body, or the embodied, that is the soul. Translation: as a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Yatha naraha, as a man, jirnani vasamsi vihaya, gives up old clothes, aparani navani grahnati, and accepts new ones, tatha dehi, so in that fashion the soul, jirnani sarirani vihaya, gives up the old bodies, anyani navani sanyati, and attains new ones. So we stop here. Today time is up. So we will read the purport tomorrow. Hare Krishna. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समावेत भक्त वृंद की जय. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your active participation.